Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel, Helki. If you are new, welcome to this sacred space. Today I wanted to talk about my personal connection with Mother Mary, who has become my main deity. I talk about Mother Mary a lot over the last year. That is how long I've been sort of building a connection with her and working with her, and it's been an amazing journey. I thought I would share more on the whole journey that I've had with Mother Mary so far, as I did make a Mother Mary altar video a few months ago. I'll put that in the iCard. If you haven't checked that out yet, definitely check it out. I really love that video. But as you can see, I have my Mother Mary altar just behind me here. And on that video, I did get a few negative comments about me being a witch and working with this, Christian archetype, Mother Mary, which is sort of frowned upon, I guess, because there is this hatred towards the witch community. Witchcraft is seen as evil within Christianity and the Catholic religion, and I just thought that it was worth me sort of explaining the connection that I have with Mother Mary, which actually has nothing to do with those religions, and it's more about working with the actual energy being that is Mother Mary, the soul who came through and channeled through the Christ consciousness to the earth. She birthed Jesus Christ, whose whole entire life mission was sharing Christ consciousness with humanity. And this wasn't something done just for Christians, it was for the people. And believe it or not, us witches are also the people. So we are all humans here in this life form. We are all people, although there are some aliens, so but I'm sure the aliens also appreciate the Christ consciousness, the energy that it's bringing to the planet, because it's all very positive and it's all very empowering for us all to work within that energy. And Christ consciousness is coming back to earth right now, and that's why a lot of us are having similar experiences with Jesus, with Mother Mary, and it's nothing to feel shame about. It's not really a taboo that I'm a witch, and she has chosen to come and work as a messenger and a channel for me. I'm very proud of this connection. I have no qualms with the Christian or Catholic community, and I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I'm just being honest about my practice, and whatever deities, gods, goddesses who choose to come through me, work with me, I'm grateful. And they're here to just help me along my path and do the work that I came here to do in this life. And we come here with this amnesia where we can often forget who we really are on a soul level and why we're here. And that's what our practice is all about. It's about reconnecting with that path and why we're here and what we came here to do, right? Let me start from the beginning. Early last year, I believe it was, I had an amazing life-altering vision with Jesus. I made a video about this. I'll also put that in the iCard for you. If you've not checked it out yet, definitely check it out. And it was after this experience that I had with Jesus that I felt really inspired to maybe call in the energy of Mary. The reason that I wanted to call in the energy of Mary and work with Mary was because on my journey here as a witch, I was feeling a shift happening within the triple goddess energy, the movement of the triple goddess that works within all of us witches. And that goes from the maiden to the mother to the crone. So still I feel very in the maiden energy. I was feeling a calling and a shift happening where I was that in between stage where that mother energy was starting to have its influence on me. And what better deity or energy to call in than Mother Mary, who is the mother of the mother energy, right? The reason that I chose to call her in over all the different deities I could have called in was because of my experience with Jesus. So I was already feeling that profound experience, this deep connection with Christ consciousness, and Mother Mary was the birther of that, the mother of Jesus and Christ consciousness. So I called her in, and then it wasn't long after that. I never had any visions at that time, but it wasn't long after that that I met my now partner Trey. And Trey happens to have a very deep connection with the goddess Isis. And now looking back, I didn't think much of it at the time. I thought it was awesome. He's had amazing visions and experiences with Isis. Now looking back, I realize there's such a strong connection between Isis and Mother Mary. It's almost like they are the same being, the same archetype. And here are just some of the similarities that I found between these two powerful women or goddesses. So Isis was the most prominent female figure in the ancient Egyptian religion. And then we have Mary, who is also the most famous and most important female figure within the Christian religion. Mother Mary and Isis are depicted in art and in the scriptures as being the mother, the maternal being. And often in art, you'll see both of them holding infants, their infants, which are these profound deities, and they both hold that role as the eternal mother. The Lady of Light is a title given to both Isis and Mother Mary. So Isis's infant, Horus, was born as the god of light for Egypt, while Jesus is known as the light of the world. Isis has a solar disk of light above her head, and Mary has a halo of light above her head. So another connection that really lit up to me with both of these goddesses is the rose. I am so connected to the rose. I've said already, I have a white rose tattoo on my arm. You can't really see in this light, but both Mother Mary and Isis are connected with the rose, and you often see images of Mother Mary with white roses around her, at her feet, in her hands. It's really common, and apparently in a lot of the ancient Egyptian art, Isis was drawn with roses, and she was connected to the rose strongly. She is a goddess of love, and we can think of Mary the same, the goddess of love and compassion. I feel very connected to both the white and the red rose, and I feel like both of these deities sort of connect with both of those colours. So Mary the white rose, Isis the red, because that kind of expresses that purity with the white, that love and purity and innocence with the white rose that is often connected to Mary, because she's the Virgin Mary as well. But also with that red rose, it's that deep feminine love and power, so it's still holding that love, but it's that more risky side, that more passionate side with the red. And I've always felt very connected to both. And I remember before I was even making this connection with Isis and Mary, I said to my partner Trey how I feel very connected, because he ended up bringing me a white rose on our second date, and I was like, wow, I'm so connected with the white rose, but there's also a side of me that feels very connected with the red rose, and I love to be able to connect to both those sides. They're very strong and powerful, but in very different ways. They represent different aspects of myself, and it's funny how there is that connection that I'm now seeing with both of these goddesses. Okay, so there you can see that there is this connection with the Mother Mary and Isis, and really it is just that ultimate archetype. Going back to the triple goddess of the witch, it is that archetype of the mother. So is it no surprise that after I called in Mother Mary, who is just a symbol really of this overall arching archetype of the mother, that then I bring in a person into my life who is also carrying that energy with him, which is Trey carrying the energy of Isis, and then me starting to build and like flourish upon this connection with Mary. As you'll see as this video goes on, my connection just really did grow with her. So my first vision, I haven't had many, but my first vision of Mother Mary came to me while I was doing a healing meditation on myself. And normally when I do these healing meditations on myself, I work with my dragon guides. So I was just going into it like I would any other healing meditation, and I was so amazed to see that it wasn't just my hands, or because normally it's my hands and then my dragon's like claws on top of my hands working with me as I go through my chakras. But it was my hands which then became connected to this glowing goddess who was actually Mother Mary, and she was smiling at me and doing this energy healing with me, and that was such a beautiful surprise, and that was really exciting to me. I remember I was in London at the time, so I wasn't in France yet. It was before I'd even come to France yet, but I was soon coming to France, and yeah, that was my first like real vision and connection with her. So then when I did come to France, I was amazed to see, as I was driving all the way from London all the way down to France, and as I got to the south of France and I'm going through these like different small villages, because we live in a little village in the middle of nowhere in the south of France, I was noticing like, wow, most of the villages here all have statues of Mother Mary, and I just found that to be so beautiful. Not something I'm used to seeing. I guess I'm used to seeing Jesus on the cross, if even that. There's not that many statues like this in towns in England or villages in England. So to see all these beautiful statues of Mother Mary, I was like, wow, I really feel Mother Mary's energy so strong here already, and that was exciting to me. I kind of felt like, yeah, I'm being called to the right place. I've bought a house in the right place. And what's really cool is in this little village that I live, it's so small, I mean there's probably no more than 10 houses here, but there's a church and the bells go off all the time, and there's a big beautiful statue of Mother Mary, and believe it or not, I can actually see this statue of Mary from a window in my house, so that's really cool. Another thing that I learned when I got here is that we live about an hour's drive away from a town called Lourdes, and this place is famous for Mother Mary. Like, I went there and literally Mother Mary is everywhere. Like, every freaking shop there almost is a shop in devotion to Mother Mary, with thousands of statues of Mother Mary. And there's a massive church there that's dedicated to Mother Mary, and this is all because way back in the day, a peasant girl had a vision of Mother Mary in this cave here in Lourdes, and basically, I think she had a health issue of some kind, and Mother Mary came to her and she spoke these words to her. Like, it was something like, I am the Immaculate Conception. This peasant girl didn't even know what these words meant, but she ran all the way up to the local church and she repeated these words to the priest at the time, and he was gobsmacked because he'd recently got that message himself from Mother Mary, and it kind of clarified that this girl's vision was true, because she didn't even know what these words meant, but she was able to speak them to him and pass this message on to him. When she went back, Mother Mary came again and she produced a spring, and this spring just sprung up from the ground in this cave, and she told Bernadette to wash herself in this spring and it will heal her, and she did so and it healed her. I think she had some kind of eye disease and she was going blind, and she was healed. It was a miracle healing, and since thousands have claimed to be healed by this water from this spring, and it still runs today. But you know, it has been really built upon. They built this giant, stunning church over the top of this spring. They do have the spring water running out, so you can like fill up your water bottles with this healing spring water. You can go there and pray at the church, and they also have like this bathing, blessing, healing place, which we actually did go to, and it was quite strange. You know, it kind of reminded me of like a hospital room, and there was a bath there, but it was COVID at the time, so we couldn't get into the bath, but instead she had like a jug of the water and poured it on our hands and told us to splash our faces, and it was quite an interesting experience. And I think it's like amazing that millions of people go to this place every year for healing. The energy was really intense and quite sensitive to energy, and I think this is often the case with places that claim to have miracle healings and stuff, and a lot of these healings actually have been proven, not a lot, but I think a handful of these healings have been proven by science to really be miracle healings. So the healing is possible there. There is a kind of desperate, sad underlying energy there now, which is you know, I think that just comes in hand with these sort of places. So it wasn't the easiest to be there as an energy sensitive person, but it was amazing to see all this dedication to Mother Mary and just knowing this amazing story of what she did here in Lourdes. Okay, so getting to the interesting bit for me anyway. This was one of the most strangest things that came through on my connection with Mother Mary was here in this house that I bought. It's about a 7-bedroom house, right? So there's lots of rooms that I could have chosen. So the 2 rooms that I chose to be my bedroom and ensuite, in one of these rooms, we was like taking off the wallpaper, getting it ready for decorating, and we took down one of the mirrors that was screwed into the wall, and out fell these papers. So these just fell. They're like really dusty. I need to like dust them off, clearly. So this was one of them, and it's this beautiful picture of Mother Mary, and believe it or not, she's got a rose in her hand as she's holding onto a cross and the halo over her head. It's a really old picture, and it's got some handwritten writing down here in French, which I don't know what that says, but wow, it's this stunning picture on this like old card of Mother Mary fell out. And then what fell out with it, which was interesting, was this, like I think it's a type of election card from 1946, like a vote-in or something like that. This little card that's just like some lady's card that used to live here, I'm guessing. What blew me away about this, and knowing that it fell out with Mother Mary, it was tucked in there for all these years now, over 70 years, this has been tucked away behind this mirror, and I happened to stumble across it. And it's got some details of the person who this belongs to. Believe it or not, this person has exactly the same birthday as me, the 26th of July, but they was born in 1922. Interesting now that it's now 2022. So this person was born exactly like 100 years ago, coming up on my birthday in this year. So you can see, I don't know if you can see very well, but there, the 26th of July 1922. And it's handwritten. And that was just insane. It was just like, wow, like, what are the chances, you know? I just feel like this person also obviously had a deep connection with Mother Mary, born on the same day as me, and born 100 years ago, and here I am 100 years later, connecting again so deeply with Mother Mary in this old picture that you know is probably around 80 or so years old of Mother Mary. Just amazing, absolutely amazing, and such a beautiful sign. I love it when I get these like synchronicities happening in my real life, not just happening in visions and knowings, but when you get these sort of clarifications coming through and these signs. I just think this felt like such a blessing, and I just knew I was in the right place at the right time, and this is all very well meant to be. The last vision that I had with Mother Mary, this happened not long after I found this picture of her behind the mirror, but I went to a local church, so not my one here in the village, but the village that's like 10 minutes from here. They have a really big, beautiful church. Like the artwork in there is insane to me. I just love it in there. We went in for the first time, and I was just looking at this like altar dedicated to Mother Mary. I closed my eyes, and then I could feel, when I feel like spirit coming in, channeling through me, I start to sway a bit. To spirit in my head, I said, I'm open and I'm listening for whoever wishes to come through and communicate with me now. And Mother Mary came through. She was like saying to me, I want to show you how to read energy signatures and how you can identify spirits and energies and people through just a feeling. Like, you don't need to see, you don't need to hear, but on a soul level you will know and recognize who this is. And then she went on to show me her energy signature. She was like, okay, now can you feel my energy signature? And suddenly, like, my body almost felt like it was levitating. And it's that kind of feeling, you know, like when you're on a roller coaster and it's going down, or you're falling and it's like your stomach rises up. It's like a really intense, insane feeling, but exciting. That was the feeling I felt. And I was like, wow, this is Mother Mary's energy signature that she's showing me. And it was like intense and gleeful and joyous. It's not like a terrifying stomach rising feeling. It's a like blissful, kind of floating, like levitating kind of energy. So then in the church, after that experience, I was like, wow, that was really cool. And I went and sat down on one of the benches, and I thought, I'm going to have a little meditate. So I closed my eyes, and straight away I was kind of brought in to this experience of the soul. And I was basically shown that this is who you are. And I was just this ball of energy that was floating in darkness, but there was no physicalness. It was no ball of light. It was just this energy in darkness, and absolute contentness that I felt, an absolute knowing of who I was. And who I was wasn't a person, wasn't Helki, it wasn't here, it was somewhere else. And it was just being in this like nothingness, but I was something there, and there was other somethings there. So when I could feel Mother Mary like nearby, and also when my partner Trey came and sat down next to me, I instantly felt him there. But I was in this deep vision in the darkness, having this experience as the soul self, and I could feel him coming in the darkness, his energy field, and I could read his energy signature. So I was like, wow, like I can read Mary's energy signature. I know who she is as a like soul, and I know who Trey is as a soul. It wasn't Trey here now with me, it was this soul that I knew very well, but I didn't have like the attachments I have to him in this life. And even I didn't have the same attachments to Mary I have in this life. It's I know this soul. We all know each other in that place, and we recognize each other, but we don't speak with words. We don't have physical bodies. The most like mind-blowing part of this experience as the soul self is that you don't even have visions of like, you know, in space or like anything. It's just darkness, and the communication is all emotion. Like everything is felt, nothing's said, nothing's seen, everything's felt, and it's in a deep knowing of what you are, with no fear and a deep contentness. And it might seem weird, like, because you think, oh, that doesn't sound great, but it's not like that when you're there. It's just what is, and it's what you really are, and you feel nothing but contentness there. There's no heaviness, no weight, no expectation. Like I said, no words, no hearing, no vision. It's just all feelings felt, and that was amazing. And then I was shown, right now you are basically just sitting in the seat of this life you're living. So here in the life I'm living right now, they basically showed my soul self going from this place of nothingness into basically like when you sit down in a cinema theater and you experience a movie, and that is literally what my soul self is doing, and that there is no weight on this. Like, you are being here, and that's all you need to do. It was just also a reminder to not take things so seriously, because really, all as souls, we are so content in who we really are, and we're here doing a role, playing a role with a life that we sort of opted to come to because we wanted to have certain experiences. So that's why we're always reminded about our path and what we came here to do, because that's what our soul wanted, but it's not got this weight that we put on it, this heavy expectation, because when you go back there, what is, and you return back to that nothingness, that bliss. So that was like one of the most profound visions I ever had. It was very intense, like in the sense of I was there. I was completely out of my body. I learned a big lesson that day. So that's sort of everything with my Mother Mary workings connection experience. Right now I have my altar space. I work with her most days. I find my connection with Mary is just very loving and guided. She's almost like that friend who always got a shoulder to cry on for you, always got an ear to listen, and she's always just helping me channel that energy of love and compassion and being in my heart. Just a reminder, constantly reminding me to come back to my heart. One thing I wanted to mention was that there was like a funny incident that I had while working at my altar with Mother Mary. Was I realized that she does not like sandalwood incense. So there was no way on earth she was going to let me burn that sandalwood incense. I tried on 2 occasions and she weren't having it. So she's really open to all my other incense, and there's just something about that one she doesn't like. I do feel she has a fondness for white sage and a fondness for frankincense, no surprise, but she is pretty open in that way. I always light 3 candles for her, and that sort of is in that traditional aspect of the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit. And I also connect that with the triple goddess, the maiden, the mother and the crone. I find as a witch we often like to work in 3s. You've got the threefold law, and it's very similar in Christianity. 3 is very important, and that is something I carry on with this. I just do a real kind of merge of all different beliefs and systems in my practice. I still work with the pentagram. I always sage in the energy of the pentagram, saging from east to south to west to north, to the spirit above, to the spirit within. She feels very much present and happy with my workings, and I love working with her. A big inspiration for me, I have found to be, is a YouTuber here called Mother Moon. I will put her in the description because she is a brilliant teacher of working as a witch with Mother Mary. I've been following her for years, and I've always like really respected her like connection with Mother Mary, but also she came from a strong Catholic and Christian background, so that's very ingrained in her, and she sort of calls herself a Christo witch. I wouldn't go that far for me because I just do this working with Mother Mary and I've had that connection with Jesus, but maybe I could be classified as a Christo witch. But like I said, I don't have a strong study of the Bible and stuff behind me, but she is a brilliant teacher. So if you're feeling connected to these kind of workings, she is the perfect person to be inspired for merging your kind of Christian beliefs and your pagan beliefs together. So that is everything for this video. Again, please just be open-minded and know that when you're working with deities and energies, anyone can come through and surprise you, and it's not really for us to judge, like to be open and in your heart that whoever comes through is the best way to practice and work with these energies and these deities. That is everything for now. My next video on this type of subject is going to be about a new deity who came through to me very recently, which I mentioned in my last video, is the goddess Iris. Like I said in that video, I never even knew who she was, so it was an absolute complete surprise to me when she came through. Yeah, it's been subtle, but there's definitely been a lot of signs and a lot of teachings, and I'm excited for the journey that she is gonna bring to me. I will be doing a video on Iris soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm sending you all my love, all my blessings, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.